Hey, it's Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday, May 16th. This will be our chart lesson for today. Yeah, Tuesday. I couldn't remember what day it was. I apologize. I had to think about it. I actually had to look and see what day it was, but it felt like Tuesday, but I wasn't sure. So it's been a long day. It's late in the evening when I'm getting this done today. I apologize. I'm a little late, but it's not going to take very long, and I'll try to get it uploaded real quick. So. Uh, in the end, it was just a range day today. We're still struggling around that 2400. The only thing is, if you look after after we closed today, we had a big sell-off here. So that's a little concerning, but that's generally what happens, and we'll probably push back up. And we finally got some movement anyway. So even though this was still a range day, we still got some movement. So um, I wanted to show something. You notice these red lines? I left them on here. I put them on here earlier today. Somebody was asking me about yesterday's chart, and he asked me about this red channel. And it's valid. He had it drawn a little different, which I don't think, I think he drew it off the closes across here, so it was a little flatter than mine. His chart looked different than mine anyway, but I'm not sure if it's maybe because he had it scrunched up like this and it looks steeper now. I'm not sure why, but anyway, he drew it a little differently, and he was asking me if I thought that was valid and why I didn't have that, why I didn't use this this lower trend line off these first two swings. Well, as you can see, it's not helping you any. It's actually there and it's valid, but it's not holding price action very well. He actually had his down here like so, and he had this big overshoot, and he was asking me why I didn't. But really, his channel was a little off. I think it's more like I have it drawn here, and you can see there's two equal tiers here, with this being the midline, and this price is reacting off of it both ways. So you can see prices reacting off my lines all over the place. You don't get many trades off this one, so you really have to drop down to the lower time frame. And so that's why I didn't have the bigger one on here, because it doesn't really help you with any trades. It might have helped you determine to go short here a little sooner, rather than waiting on the lower high or whatever, or the lower the reversal type pattern. But really, it just doesn't help you, so I didn't use it. I found all my trades based off of these shorter term stuff and the sideways stuff. So, but I did want to show this too. Notice that I want to show you that this trend line from yesterday, or this channel, still played out perfect price action. But notice what happens. We finally get a little break here. And during the overnight, we moved to a new high during the overnight, and then opened up and trended down. So this red channel from yesterday still played out in today. You don't need it. It doesn't really help you. I generally don't like to use the previous day's price action to determine any trades, because everything you needed is on today's chart and in today's price action. But I want to just show that to you, to show you how price action works. It's amazing. And somebody sent me a chart yesterday. I believe it was or I actually sent it over the weekend. I think it was a 10-year chart, and he found the channels going back on a 10-year chart, and they were playing out really well. So, if you want to go up to a different level and try to use what we do on a daily chart or even a weekly or monthly chart, you can do it, because price action works. You won't get many trades, and you may stay in a trade a long time, and you may have to have a big stop and a big target. But if you want to do that, you can do that, because the price action, it's there, it always works, and it's always valid. So you can use it in a lot of different ways. But anyway, let's get to the trades. When I came in, we were working up. It's really quiet. It's looking kind of rangy, but we're starting to move here. And this is a breakout pullback long. It's not a perfect signal bar, but if you break higher than this, you figure you're probably going to push on up to a new high. I really treated it, this is like one move and a first entry move, second leg up and a second entry short that fails. So that's the way I was looking at it. And if you saw it like that, you could take that trade. It's a little bit aggressive, because this this is really your true failed second entry short right here on this chart. So that would have been where you really wanted to go long right there, but that's early, it's back 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So, most of us are in bed unless you're overseas, and I still don't recommend trading the ES during the overnight hours because of the thin margin and the market just doesn't act normal. So, but anyway, you might have taken that trade. Once we got up here and you see the measured move up here, I wouldn't be going long here, which really this could be up here. Doesn't matter. It still works, and it probably is up there. But I drew it off these closes originally, and so when when you're pushing past that, I'm not willing to go long after that. But it looks like an overshoot to me, and so I liked really going short. This really is almost could be red, but generally you need to wait on a lower high right here. But I like going short here because it's so far away from the EMA. It looks like an overshoot. A lot of reasons to like that trade, but generally you need to wait on a lower high. That comes in here, and then it's a little bit close to the EMA, but you could probably still argue to take that one, with the idea that, hey, if I'm going to get a measured move, it's going to end up back down here at the trend line. So you could actually argue for that one to be green too. But I'll be honest with you, I like going short up here based on how far away from the EMA that is. You got a break of this and 2 legs up to a new high. You got an overshoot of this trend channel, and just a lot of reasons to like going short up there. You might enter here, but I think it's a little more risky right into that EMA because it may bounce. You get your true failed second entry long here, but it's not really a failed second entry long. The long works, and it's a bounce off the trend line, and this confirms the trend line. So I like going long right there, but as much as I wanted to go short right here, you can't go short right there because it may pull back to the trend line and take off again. So, but with this overshoot up here, you figure you're going to get an equal move. So that means we're probably going to move an equal distance, at least off the other side. So that means testing this level again. And then notice it comes back and turns down. Again, I wanted to go short right there, but it's right into those 2 lows there. So I think you need to wait, and then you really get what I call a breakout pullback short right here. We broke below that, pulled back. And so I like going short right there, figuring that, hey, if it turned, this is a trap. I guarantee they trap longs there. And you don't want to be going long there with that trend line working down. So I really liked going. This was a nice trade. This was the trade of the day, really. You can meet your target on this one trade here. And I really liked that trade. But then, of course, we bounced down here. And you want to go, you're thinking long down here, but with this channel and this big overshoot and the fact that it can't get back through, and the fact that we're not going any higher and this is holding right here, you got to say, hey, maybe this is a midline. And if we turn down, so when it turned up right here and double tested that and it went higher and then turned and goes lower, that's almost a repeat of this right here. In fact, it is a repeat of that. I like going short there, just hoping you could ride it down to this other side. And sure enough, that was another nice short right there. And it's tempting to go. It actually, notice what happens down here. Now you've got 2 equal moves. I actually don't have that in quite the right spot there. It probably looks better there. That looks like it's equal now. But when it actually went lower here and turned and went back out the other side, and again, you're far away from the EMA. I love these setups. You can treat that like a failed break lower. And a lot of times you're going to catch an important low of the day or important high of the day. Look at both of these. You catch important high and important low, but you might miss it occasionally, and you might be wrong. And so you got to be careful, and you really need to know you're reading the price action right, and you really need to have some evidence like this bouncing off the low end of the channel, being that far away from the EMA, a little trap by going lower and then turning up, little things like that. So, but yeah, that's a real low entry too, because that bar is only a couple of ticks, and so once it turns higher, it never goes lower again. And your stop really needs to go below this bar. But since you're entering on that one, you start with it right below that bar until this one closed, and then I'd move it down here. You get a higher low here, but it's still right into the support resistance line, and it's pretty bullish, but it's also into the EMA, so you got some different things going on there. I think you're better off to wait on that third push lower, and there it comes. And this is just a repeat of the one from kind of this morning. It's not exactly the same, but it's close. I like going long right there. It's not a great signal bar, and that's why I made it green. But it comes back and tests the support resistance area. It holds. I think you're better off to wait and see if you get a higher low, and it comes right here, and you get a really nice setup right there. So this was a better place to enter. If you want to be a little aggressive, if that wasn't a doji, I'd say go long right there. Boy, that being a doji, and I mean, that's a true doji. It's closed right in the middle. It closed below the EMA. That one scares me, I'll be honest with you. But there's still reasons to like it. So if you want to be aggressive, you might take that one. But this was the better entry. And then we just start kind of going sideways. There's a first entry here, and it pulls back, and you get a second entry here. And if you'd entered, I believe, no, you would have got burned here. But with that trend line right there, you really can't enter there. And the fact that we pushed through the EMA, I'm not going to go long there. I can see, I'm sure there's probably some of you that went long there and probably got trapped on that second entry. But with it pushing through the EMA right there, and then this not being this is almost it's one tick away from being a true doji, just like that one. And so I just don't really like it. If you did enter there, once you started going sideways here, and especially when it broke up and turned back down, I would have exited that. And I like going short here because now you've made this high and you've double tested it, plus you've got those three matching highs, and that one tick higher in that little trap, you actually could have gone short right below that bar right there. Just have your sell stop right waiting right there, because you're probably coming back down to test this again. And if this bar is not too big, you could actually go short right there. I'd let it break and drop my limit order back here if I was going to wait on this bar. And you could have gotten filled like that, would have worked out. So that would have been the way to play that one. And there's one more push up, but that's too close back into the support. And you probably, it's too risky. You might have gotten burned right there. I actually like considering going long right here, but again, you probably should wait on that higher low, which comes here, but it's after 2 o'clock. So, and that turns out to be the play. So if it wasn't after 2 o'clock, I'd like that trade right there. So not a bad day. I had a really, I was done really early this morning, thanks to those nice moves down there. So it was nice to actually get some movement and be able to catch some runners. If you got short in here, you should have had some nice runners, and you should have tried to hold on to them all the way to at least test these lows, which is what I used. You probably wanted to also watch for a measured move, but notice how we never bounced. Basically what I did when we got around that measured move, I'd move my stop down one tick above each high until we got a lower one. And then you would have got stopped out right there. And so you got most of that move. And that's the way, that's how you want to try to play it. And so it turned out to be a really good day. Some good learning lessons here about the channel from yesterday. And now that we're headed lower here, I would look for, we might already have it. Looks like we got more than a measured move, but I'd look for a measured move to start with right there. Really, you probably should measure from here because that's where we turn back down. And notice we did kind of bounce right there, but it continued on. So that was a pretty good sell-off for overnight. But yeah, just a range day overall. A little uptrend, a little downtrend, a little uptrend, a little downtrend. And that's, days like this, you really just have to trade the shorter term stuff. There's not much else you can do. So. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, call it a day, and get out of here. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.